host, John Sirianides, and this week I'm joined by Jack Byrne, head football coach at Windham High School up in Windham, New Hampshire. Coach Byrne, how are you this evening?
Hey, how's it going, John? Just fresh off of an elementary school chorus show that I just got back from, and long day of classes before that, but good place to be right now.
Yeah, and you know that is life, right? Trying to balance it all, coaching and teaching and doing all the things you have to do in that part of your life, and then you got to find that balance with family, right? I mean, that's important as well. And you know, I've had you on before, Jack, and I think one of the things that I was impressed in talking to you was, we talked a lot about Massachusetts high school football versus New Hampshire high school football and New England high school football in general. And we had a really good conversation about that. But tonight, I had you back on because you reached out to us a couple of weeks ago. And, you wanted to talk a little bit about something that you guys are doing at Windham High School coming this August that I think is really unique and really cool. And that's going to be the majority of the show tonight. We're going to talk about the program's trip to Ireland. So just give us a little bit of background there. What are you guys doing? You're going to be playing a game in Ireland at the end of August. Fill us in on that and then any other information you might have.
Yeah, no, thanks, John. Thanks for having me on to talk that. I can talk that all day. I mean, as far as we know, we've done a little research. I think we're going to be the first team from New England, high school team from New England, to play American football internationally. I don't know if there's any like border teams up in Vermont or Maine or wherever that would go to Canada or something, or Texas playing a team from Mexico. But this is, I think, the first one from New England at least. We're going to be participating in the Global Ireland Football Tournament. It's not really a tournament; it's a series of games the day before the Aer Lingus Classic. So the Aer Lingus Classic this year will be Florida State versus Georgia Tech, and we end up getting a week there where we'll have a couple days of camp. We're going to try to match up with an Irish U19 national team and spend some time with them, whether it's doing a cooperative practice or going out to eat with them and just making some friends. And we're matching up against a school called the McClay School. It's out of Tallahassee. They're a private school, about 1,000 kids. Great coaches. We already have a pretty open discussion about how to make it a great trip for both teams. And so we'll play them on Friday, and then mixed in with some tours and clinics for Irish Gaelic sports and stuff like that. And then we cap off the trip by going to that Aer Lingus Classic the next day. So we get to see Florida State and Georgia Tech. And it's going to be pretty special.
Yeah, and especially for the kids, whenever you get an opportunity to take your program to another state, or in this case, another country, it certainly makes for a memorable trip, something that the players, parents, chaperones, everyone is going to remember. How long are you guys going to be there? You said you're playing on Friday night. How long are you guys going to be in Ireland in totality?
Yes, we'll get there early Wednesday. Then we'll have 2 full days of camp. I'm guessing it'll be a pretty packed schedule. We'll try to get the most out of it while still resting the kids. So two big prep days, and then Friday the game. Saturday is the Aer Lingus Classic and some other celebration dinners and stuff like that. And then we come back Sunday, pretty early Sunday. I think we wake up, we probably have breakfast, and we should be back in Windham by Sunday evening and ready to roll into our next scrimmage and our full regular season. So.
Right, and I'm sure you have a scrimmage like 2 days later.
Yeah, we just scheduled Westwood High School down in Mass. So another Mass team I get to hang out with, and that's
awesome.
That'll be the following Friday.
Well, it's a great staff over there. Brad Pindell does a great job. One of my closest friends, Sean Hill, just got appointed the defensive coordinator there. So it'll be a good test. When I was head coach at Norwood, we used to scrimmage them, neighboring towns. So that should be a good test for you guys. But, getting back to the Ireland trip, obviously, like you said, this is a unique opportunity for the players and those involved with the program to participate in something like this. Obviously, it also takes a lot of planning. I'm sure it's going to take up the bulk of your off season, getting this together, getting the people involved that you need to get involved. But perhaps the most important part of all this is fundraising, because you're going to need to raise some money to pay for some of this trip, or at least part of this trip. How has that process gone so far, and where are you guys at in terms of the fundraising?
Yeah, I mean, you don't get into coaching football, high school football, at least for the money, and so I'm not a big money guy. We really very rarely talk about any of that stuff, but so we try to take all of our character education and all of our, off the field stuff, all the things that we believe in, and we try to apply it to that. And so, when it comes to a trip that, costs a decent amount of money, we're trying to have our kids really work their tails off to get that raised themselves, or the coaching staff doing it to, raise that money ourselves. I do not want us to be some program where, enough parents can just afford it and we throw money at it and all that. Like, we want to work for it. We want to be blue collar. We want to do the ground level stuff, whether it's, helping people with their trash at the transfer station, or, helping people at collecting outside of a restaurant, or doing community service at, raking leaves or shoveling snow. That's really the foundation of everything we've done. And then hopefully we can kind of surprise the kids with a few corporate donors and maybe some big drops from some big shots out there, I guess. So yeah, and our biggest push at the end. We have a comedy show next Sunday. Well, this Sunday, St. Patrick's Day. I'll actually be doing 5 or 10 minutes of stand up. That's a former something I did in a former life. So
I was going to say, have you done comedy in the past?
Yeah, I did it all through college. That was a tough balance, trying to play football at Tufts and then going out to Boston till 2 a.m. It probably cost me some playing time, but it was really worth
it. Coach Samko wasn't on board with the comedy career?
No, it wasn't even that. I mean, there was some good talent in front of me and stuff. I was a solid, character guy, off the bench and getting a little bit of time here and there either way. But when you go to Tufts, I think you get, you get that urge to be well-rounded and just go for it and try anything. And that was one of those things that I took a big swing at. So yeah, we're doing one of those events. I'll do 5-10 minutes, then we'll get some professionals up there who aren't rusty like me. I'll do a show every couple of years. And then our other one, we're trying to do a big, New England regional 50-50. We're doing like an online 50-50 and trying to really make the pot huge. We really want to connect with as many Irish pubs and restaurants as we can. So I'm hoping to at least send an email or a phone call to every Irish pub in the New England region. I think it'd be really cool to, they don't have to all donate money, but if they could all put up the QR codes and the links, and maybe their customers would, throw $10 here for a chance to win a big, pot of gold or whatever we want to call it. That's how we're trying to finish it up.
And I'm just curious, what does, financially speaking, what does a trip like this entail? Without getting into numbers and those types of specifics, what kind of a financial commitment is this? Because it's one thing if you go to Pennsylvania or Ohio and you spend 3 or 4 days there, you play a game, you do some touristy stuff, but this is a different animal now.
Yeah.
What does it entail in terms of cost?
Yeah, no, you're not being rude, John. I got you. I'll talk that with you because I do want other teams to do it. I mean, I hope that we start a trend where it's not just about playing the teams right next door to you and just the wins and losses. I hope that the educational experience keeps expanding, because football teaches life lessons better than anything out there. And when we get to do this, it's totally worth it. I think it's going to be a lifelong experience for these guys, or a lifelong memory. As far as the cost, I mean, it's about a $4,000 commitment from each player that's going. But the companies that we work with, Global Football, On Location was our travel company. They're really good about spreading those payments out and kind of crediting families back that money as fundraising money comes in. So they're very good. I mean, they've done it for a few years. They do it with a lot of colleges where you got to put in a certain amount every month, but as the school puts in stuff, if we have a big event and we raise 10 grand, we can let them know whose pots to put that in, and or just spread it evenly and that kind of stuff. So it's been really good. I mean, for something that's not my favorite thing to do or talk about, they've made us feel really comfortable, and the hard work has paid off. I mean, a lot of people around Windham have jumped on the chance to help, whether it's just a small donation at the dump or the transfer station, all the way to some corporate donations that have really helped us. So I think it's doable. I mean, I can't tell you that it's not a lot of hard work. I mean, it's all I think about besides my family. But I think it'll be worth it. And I think there's a lot of coaches out there. I know how hard they work and how locked in they are to their programs. And it's worth doing. I think it's been a good experience, and I can't imagine that that it's going to be anything less than awesome for these guys.
And Coach Burho checks in. Jack, great guy, great coach. So, Coach, thanks for checking in.
Now, fun fact with him, John, Wes and I worked at the Comedy Connection back when I was in college. So Wes caught me right when I was starting some of the stand up. We were just doormen together, but we shared a lot of good football in common, as well as a lot of our nerdy, dorky sides. Wes and I are very alike. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he is. He's one of my closest friends too. So I'm excited that he checked in, and he's a good judge of character. So I mean, if he calls you what he just called you, then obviously that's a stamp of approval for me. But you were those things before Wes chimed in. But no, he's the real deal, and
he is.
Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Foxborough High School, your D5 Super Bowl champions this past season. They got their rings today. So
all right,
there you go. You mentioned, the cost of making this work for every player. Obviously, the goal is to have every player in the program that can go, right? You don't want, at least in the varsity program, you don't want it to be something where, and this is where the fundraising piece is important. You want to make sure that you help those kids that might need that extra help in terms of finances so that they can go and experience this as well.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we're sending about between 40 and 45 kids. We offered it to everybody, but we were pretty transparent about, what levels of guys are likely to get significant playing time and that kind of stuff. And that's a hard conversation, but our parents handled that so well, and so did the kids. So, once that list was kind of set, we had some kids that obviously have a little bit more need than others. I mean, in any town, that's what you're going to get, and for various situations. And it's been awesome. We've had a few people on the side, whether it's community members or corporations to, say, hey, if you have a kid that's really struggling, we'll sponsor them. And most of those have been anonymous. Like, it's just so cool to see, someone recognizing a huge opportunity for a kid that wouldn't otherwise have it, and helping them out. So, any of those type of situations, it's so great. It's so cool to see people who have made it, people who are successful financially, still having, that character of just understanding what it's like for a kid to get that.
You are watching the Coaches Chat, and this week I am joined by Jack Byrne, head football coach at Windham High School. And usually we talk about the coach's coaching career and the program and whatnot, but this week's show, we are focused on helping Windham High School get the word out about the game that they will be playing on August 23rd in Ireland. They will be traveling over there, and they will be playing in a series of, well, not Windham, but there'll be a series of high school games. Windham will be participating, and it's all ahead of the Aer Lingus Classic between Florida State and Georgia Tech. Coach, obviously this is a great opportunity for you and your program, but what does it do to your schedule? Aside from planning for the trip, what does it mean for your football schedule? Will you guys be able to start earlier? Does it change anything in that regard?
It doesn't officially change anything for the schedule. I think we just have to work a little bit harder in the summer when it comes to, trusting that guys are getting in shape. When we do have the time to get together and send out things on Huddle or get together for 7-on-7, I think the urgency needs to be a lot more, which, I know we can count on our guys for that. It's, it's just a little bit different. We don't want to take their summer away. We don't want them to, not be kids. We still want them to be kids, even if they have a big opportunity like this. It's more, I put the most pressure on myself and our staff to just make sure that everything is really buttoned up and really, all our installs are really well done. And I think it makes you a better coach when you got to hit the ground running, when basically the equivalent of your first scrimmage is one of the biggest games the program's ever played. So it'll be worth the work that we put in to see how good we can coach and how well we can organize everything.
And I asked you this before we went live, but this isn't going to count towards your regular season record, correct?
Right. In New Hampshire, anything out of division doesn't count, but they've done a great job of putting our schedule together where we have a combination of, our conference games, which we're starting to get some really good rivalries as you play year in and year out. You always play a couple crossover games with, like we're in the Central Conference. So we'll always play at least one team from the West, one team from the East. And then you have one open week. So we get to fill that with Malden Catholic again this year, which, Doesn't count on our record, but it's a great way to create some rivalries out of state. To take some risks with your schedule, and so our schedule's kind of really diversified. I think it's really great the way they do it in New Hampshire.
And let's talk a little bit about the program here in the few minutes that we have left, and then I do want to come back to making sure that we get people information that they're going to need so that they can donate for the trip to Ireland. But just talk a little bit about last season and what the current state of the program is right now.
Yeah, so last season we finished. We kind of snuck into the playoffs. We had a real solid team. I thought we returned a lot of good guys, and we lost a couple close ones that put us in a tough spot. We rebounded, won our last 2 regular season games, just to get us in the playoffs, and we were rolling pretty good. And then unfortunately, Londonderry was playing their best football, and they're already very good. So for them to be playing their best football with how they started on the baseline, we took it on the chin a little bit in the playoffs. But that's what you do. I mean, that's what we sign up for. We don't want to lose, but we want to play the best. And we know that, if we can get through, our schedule and we get through the playoffs. I mean, if we win this thing or we get to the finals, you coached really well and your kids worked really hard. So that's what we're doing heading into this season is just, obviously learning from the close losses and learning from a real tough loss in the playoffs to make the adjustments we need.
And of course, going into this season, talk a little bit about what you have back or some key guys that we can look forward to, and how do you take that next step as a program and improve from what you did last season?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, it starts with our defense. We have, I would say the average Windham kid is a perfect defensive player. They're just sort of a medium-sized guy with a little extra explosion and speed. So guys fly around and they're so coachable and you can put game plans together. So, we have guys like Reed Lambert, Matt Caboris. They're excellent linebackers that are coming back for us. We have a kid, Liam Shambo, that can play linebacker, nose, and he's just an old school tough player, just real great kid. As far as our speedsters, we get a couple guys at the slot position and defensive back. Chris Brearley, Cam Williams. Those guys are going to be solid for us. And then we have more guys on the O-line and D-line than we've had before. I mean, we still don't have the 300-pound kid, but we run a lot of triple option stuff, a lot of quick game out of spread, and so just having good athletes on the O-line is good as well. We do lose a really good tailback in Tiger On, who hopefully is heading towards a great college career, but we replace that with some different styles. We have a kid, Hayden Tedesco, that's a real coachable, tough, fast kid. Who can pull that off, and then another Brearley, Michael Brearley, who's heading into his sophomore year, who's already running laser 40s in the 4.6s and stuff like that. So we're really lucky. We have a lot of speed and kids that have learned from those in the past to just kind of keep stacking on that tradition. So hopefully we keep getting better and better.
Yeah, and you mentioned Tiger On. He also had a lot of success playing in the league, and obviously he did a great job there, and he's done a great job in your program the last 2 years. So we want to wish Tiger the best as he heads off to college. As we wrap up here, Coach, you got about 5 minutes left. I do want to give people some information here so that they can help with the fundraising for the trip. So what are some ways that people can donate and help?
Yeah, no, thank you very much. We do have a couple straight donation platforms that maybe we can tweet out or whatever, but it's through a site called GoFan. It ends up working really great. Our athletic director can kind of drive it from within the district. We don't have to outsource it very much. So that GoFan link is for direct donation. So we basically have like a friends and family and individual level that has $25 and $50 and basic stuff like that. And then we have a corporate level too. And I can definitely share both links and share my email. And honestly, like if anybody wants to just reach out to me, I can set them up. I want to make it a personal touch. I want to know what people actually want to do, whether, if they own a business or whatever. I want to talk to people who are helping us. I don't want to ever just ask for money and just dump it in for us and thank you very much. But my people are welcome to email me and check in that way. And then our last thing is our 50-50 so for people that want to, have a little bit of skin in the game, we're doing a a New England regional 50-50. It's all online, and we're going to track it on Facebook. And yeah, people can enter. It's just $10 a ticket, and hopefully that pot gets really big, because I'm hoping that every Irish pub in the New England area will post it on their front door and put it on their social media, and we get some momentum that way. So we're hoping to give back a little bit and make it a real exciting finish to our fundraising and have a big winner at the end. That would be pretty cool. So yeah, so if you don't mind, I'll send you all those links. I mean,
Sure.
I don't know
absolutely.
all the
Anything we can do to help.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our deal. We'll do like a flag football tournament in May. For a couple little things, and I think that's going to kind of wrap it up, because then we got to start playing. We got to start getting the guys thinking X's and O's and really focusing. So any help would be huge, and please make it as personal as you can. Call me, email me. We'll get in touch, and whatever helps your business or helps you out personally, let's do it. We want to try to expand New England football and get everybody excited about it, and hopefully give some opportunities to other programs to do stuff like this.
And as far as the coaches go, are you guys paying out of pocket, or is that part of the fundraising?
It's a little combination. So they do a great job. It's very similar to a lot of field trips, like our music clubs and bands and all that have gone. Typically what happens is, as you buy packages, your players will buy packages, or family members will buy packages to go see it. And for every 10, they'll give you the equivalent of a chaperone. So we're at the spot right now where, a few people are covered, a few coaches are covered, but then we have to do fundraising to finish that up, because we don't want to just put all the coaches first. I want to keep giving back to kids. If kids put the work in individually, I want them to get money in their file, I guess. So yeah, so they help us out a lot there. So it's definitely doable. It's good. You just probably have to do a little bit on top of it if you want to bring the whole staff, and we're bringing a decent amount of the staff. So
one of those staff members is Lauren Gaudette. She checks in. Go Jags. So there you go. I hope she's going, right?
Oh, she's going.
All right, good. Good. Lauren's the best. Lauren, thanks for checking in. She's like our number one fan on our Patriots post-game show that we do. So she's the best.
She's a national treasure. We got to bring her across the ocean. And
you do. She is awesome. She is the best, and she's everything that's great about New England football. Her passion for the game is second to none. And even though she loves her hoops, and I bust her chops about hoops, I do remind her that you're a football coach first.
Yep.
That's what we do. So I'm pumped to hear that she's going.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think going back to the beginning of the show here, is we got another minute left here, Coach. I think that we need to see more and more of these types of trips, because they have so much value for the kids. And it's not just the football piece. That's actually a small part of it. It's the experience. It's the history. It's the visiting another country, the tourism. There's so many other parts of this that make it a great experience for the kids. So I think it's important for people out there to realize, if you're planning on donating, just remember, you're not just donating to a cause that is centered around a football game. This is way more than that for kids, and kids need these types of experiences today.
I really appreciate it. You're absolutely right. I mean, I think, if you're playing against the right schedule, it's tough to win. It's tough to just say, hey, you're going to get all trophies and championships and stuff like that. That's the goal every year, but you got to be realistic. You're in a battle every week if you're playing the right schedule. So you better give them that experience as well. You better let them know that there's bigger things in life. It's okay to chase championships, but still have those character experiences and give yourself some memories with your best friends that you remember for a long time. So that's what we're trying to do. And then hopefully we can, get back on the plane and make a run at the championship in the fall.
Well, Coach Byrne, I want to say thank you for taking the time, man. I really appreciate you reaching out. Like I said, any information that you need to get out there, and you need that extra platform to get it out there, we'll be glad to help. It's what we're here for. We're not just here to cover games and talk football in the fall. We truly are all football all the time. So anything we can do to help, we'd be glad to tweet out or share out any links. Anything you have, just send it along, and we'll make sure that we use our social media platforms to get the information out there. And hopefully we can help you guys raise some more money.
Can't thank you enough, man. You do it right. You do it right for all of us. And New England football is really lucky to have you.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man. I appreciate the kind words, and we can't wait to find out how the trip went. It's interesting. Kevin Stone said, "Man, can I go out there and cover it?" I said, "Sure. If we have the resources, why not? Make a week of it. Go out there and cover the game.
Anybody that we can get out there, man, I'd love to do it. Love to do it.
It's good stuff. But Coach, I'll definitely stay in touch. Like I said, get us anything you need for us to share, and we're on it.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, Coach. That is Jack Byrne, head football coach at Windham High School. That'll do it for this week's episode of the Coaches Chat. For Coach Byrne, I'm John Serenitas. Till next week. Peace.